Good afternoon, everyone. This is Scott, and welcome to the weekly trade report video. Today is November 26th, 2017. Going forward, guys, I'm going to start using this FinViz charts. And before I was using TD Ameritrade's Thinkorswim for my charts, but I really like the way that the FinViz charts are. They have an interactive thing where you can draw lines and so forth, and I think it looks better. So going forward, that's what I'm going to use. And so first up, let's take a look at the Dow Jones Index. We can see that basically the market remains in a strong uptrend. See the market's just just steady higher. You can just see this strong trend in the Dow, and so the market still looks strong. Take a look at the SPY. The SPY is at new highs, so similar to the Dow. Just very strong market right now overall. IWM, same thing. We can see right here with the small cap IWM. So broke out above that upper resistance there and is now at new highs as well. So lots of strength in the market. Market's very strong at this point, and so market still looks good going forward. Let's take a look at some of the individual trades from last week, different trade ideas. So this FMSA, still really like this name. The pattern still remains. If we take a look at the technicals, so you got this basically a resistance level right around 5. It broke that, and it looks like it's just kind of chopping just a little bit above that area. It's an oil name. I think oil remains strong at this point, and so this one I actually got stopped out. I tried to buy it for a 5 break, and it failed on this day, so I actually got out of it. But when it opened up above 5, and in the emails I mentioned if it gets back above 5, I'm going to jump back in, and so I did on the open, and then it closed at the high up here. So this was a day trade on this day, and I still like this name, and I may re-enter this one if it can get back near 5 or even a little bit above it. I still think this one's going to go higher, potentially 550 or 6 in the coming week or so. So FMSA, I still like that name going forward. CORI, so here's a biotech name. Took a little while to get through this resistance right around this area right here. Right, so it broke it and then kind of chopped around for a few days before it finally broke and stuck. But this one had a nice break, a nice move, and I think this one could go higher. If you're looking for a target on this name, I would use this lower level right down here. Let's see, still getting used to this drawing tool here. So here's kind of the lower level of this pattern. So 10 to say 1120 area. So I'd give you 1120, 1220. So maybe 1250 target, first target on that one, but I think you could go higher than that as well. So that's CORI. Okay, CDNA did exactly what it looked like it was going to do. And here's basically the bull flag pattern that it produced back here in late August and September time frame. Had a nice break. We traded that one. I got a pretty good profit on it, and I didn't hold it all this time, but I still did pretty decent on it. And then here's the same pattern repeating itself again. Nice base breakout through this 6 area. So I had this one on the 6 break. Took a couple days to break, and then I took it off at 650, and you can see it's still grinding higher. So this one could be going higher, guys. The trigger was to get through on the 6 break, but now it's getting a little bit extended, but it still looks pretty decent overall. You can see here it went nearly doubled in like a week and a half. So this one could be going a lot higher as well. The technicals are there. CDNA still looks good going forward. Okay, IOVA. This one had a nice pattern, and here was the setup right through this 8 area, right there, and basically the ascending triangle. Like that. So this one had a nice break through 8. If you're looking for a target, I would use the lower support of the pattern. So use the 7 area. So here's 7, breakout's 8. First target's 9, so you'd have hit your first target if you bought this one. So this one could pull back now. It could keep going, but that's the good thing about trimming and trailing. You know, you can sell half your position, carry some, or sell it all and move on. You know, there's always another trade, always another setup you can find. So IOVA, nice break there. Let's see. Okay, ECYT. I really like the way this one looks. This one is a, you know, basically what you got here is you got a big momentum move, and then you got a pullback and consolidation. And most of the time, you know, these momentum names, they have these big moves, and then they just chop around for a month or whatever, and then they perk back up, and they have some nice action going. So this one looks like it's setting up for a nice move. You've got this resistance right in this area here, right at you know, 525, 530 area, right in there, and then, you know, even through 550. If it gets through that area, I think it could go back and test these highs around 650 in the next maybe a week or two. But I really like the way this one looks. ECYT. Keep an eye on that one for a move higher. Okay, FSNN. This is very similar. You know, you see the last one we looked at, ECYT. It's a big momentum break and then the sideways chop for a while, and now it's coming back alive. And so this one, you know, the key spot on this one was right around 3, and I mentioned this one on Twitter. Through this 3 break, and you can see where it had the, you know, nice break through 3, close up at 325. So nice break there on FSNN. I think this one could go back up and be testing. There's really no more resistance until you get back up here around this 340 area. So I think this one could test that 340 break probably Monday or Tuesday. So just keep an eye on this one for more momentum on FSNN. I think that one looks great going forward. Okay, FRSH. Finally got the break. It's thinner name, doesn't trade a lot of volume, but the technical looks pretty good. You know, kind of got this one, Papa Murphy's Pizza. So technically it's a breakout, just a very slow mover, but still looks good going forward. If you know, probably not what I'm going to trade, but you know, technicals are there. It looks good. Okay, ASND, another one, you know, had a big momentum break, pullback, held the 50-day moving average, which is good, kind of bouncing off that, and so now it's kind of got this resistance level right in here. Been watching this one for a few days, can't really seem to get going, but I do think this one could have a nice push higher in the next coming week or so. So this one, if this one, you know, can kind of get through this area here, I think it can move back up to 40, you know, maybe even 42. So keep an eye on this ASND. Technically, it looks like it's setting up, ready for a move. Okay, Juno. Juno continues to be one of the strongest stocks in the market. You know, here was this nice break, you know, back here through this base. Big breakout. You know, looks very similar to what you've seen back in late August. You know, it had a big break. And then had this resistance at 60. So a couple days it was trying to push through 60. And that was, you know, the recent high. So this area could either act as a, you know, resistance or, you know, breakout level. And so it looks like, you know, 60, you know, clearly broke that on Friday, had a nice push through 60. So very nice move there on Juno, and Juno just continues to be very strong. I think this one's going higher as well. Okay, AXTI, nice break from the weekly watch list. Here was the level, 950. Okay, then had that nice break there early in the week. You know, take a look. Here's the longer term ascending triangle type pattern. It does look like it's going higher. It looks like it broke, kind of just chopping around, kind of creating a little flag type pattern. So I'd watch for this one through 1050. I think this one's, you know, got more upside in it as well on AXTI. So Kang is has a nice little pattern there, very thin trading name, and but I think going forward I'm just going to kind of not really watch this one. It's a Chinese name. It's not really moving much, and so anyway, Kang looks okay, but unless this thing can come alive and really just kind of break out of this consolidation, um, it's just not much there at this point. So take that one off the watch list going forward. Okay, BTU. This one, not a huge mover, but decent action on Friday. Had a nice break. If you take a look at the chart, here was kind of a key spot. If we take a look at, let's see, kind of dragging that there. You can see where it had kind of that resistance. Broke out of that, kind of flagged for a little bit, and then had the next level right at 32. Right there. And so this one took a couple days to actually break through, but then had a nice push on Friday. So BTU, I think looks good going forward. Not a huge mover, but nice technicals on BTU. Okay, Edit looks interesting. So Edit had a clean spot right around this 26. Right in this area here. And it broke it, had a nice break on Thursday, and then gave it all back on Friday. So this one could be a nice breakout pullback setup. So similar to what we've seen with APTO, where APTO broke through 175 and then pulled all the way back. This one could get a nice bounce because it's right here at the breakout level. So if this Edit, can perk up, if you can get in right around this 26 area, this one could see a nice, push back towards 28 possibly early in the week. So watch this one for a breakout pullback to hold that support level. Okay, Zoe's, not the best technicals on it. Looked like it wanted to test this area right in here. Recent resistance from back in August, September, but it's having some trouble getting through that 1350 spot. If we get to 1350, maybe it's worth a trade, but just an okay setup, not a great one there on Zoe's. Okay, TRIL had a nice break. You can see that kind of run up, and then it had this resistance right there at 10. So see that was a nice break through 10. I didn't trade that one, but it looked good. A little bit thin on the thin side of volume, so I kind of veered away from it. But now it's a bit extended, so I don't really see a good entry at this point. But on this 10 break, that would have been a good trade. So. Okay, AMPH basically got rejected at resistance up here at around 19, just over 19. So nothing here. If we can get back towards 19, I think this is one to watch going forward for a 19 break. All right, RIGL. This one looks interesting. Here's a big momentum name, and then just kind of consolidated sideways, and then so as it broke through this 4 level, that was a trigger to get long, and it had a nice push right through 4, right, and then it had a nice push. So now it's got some resistance right up at this area up in here. So basically here's kind of a resistance area from this candle high back here. So I'd keep an eye on this one for a push through that area. I do think this RIGL is going higher. So keep an eye on that one going forward. Okay, MEOH, trying to break out of a range consolidation spot right around 52. Right in this area here. Okay. Lower level right down here. So here's a lower part of the base. So this is an area you could use as a, we're around 49. All right, 49 to 52. So give you a 3-point target on this break here. So 52 give you a 55 target area. But that one looks good, MEOH. Okay, so Vail, this one had a nice spot right at 1050. You can see where it closed right near that resistance, and then the very next day it gapped up and had a nice 2-day push there. So that was a nice mover there on VALE. You know, looks a little bit extended from the breakout point, so it could pull back a little bit. But if you could have got this one on a 1050 break, that one was a nice setup. Okay, MSB, this is another pretty thin trading stock, but I really like the technicals on it. So this one I'd watch for that 24 break, you know, ramped all the way back up there, tested that after finding support right on the 50-day. So looks like it's slightly green on Friday. If it can perk back up to 24, I'd seriously consider taking this one long for a swing. You know, once again, you got the big momentum, the sideways chop, and then you get a continuation move through this range. So this one through 24 really like. It's thin, but you know, it's got pretty thin volume on the name, but I really like it. I think it's going to go higher. Alrighty, let's see here. Okay, OLN, still trying to break out through 37 spot. Technically it looks pretty good, so I'd keep an eye on this one through 37 area. OLN, I think that one's, you know, that one looks pretty decent setup there. TURN, resistance right around 211, 210. Big breakout consolidating, so I'd look for this one to break through 210, 212 area. Maybe that one can get a move. Okay, HRTX. So this is one I really like this one, and you know, it's tested, you know, a couple key levels right around 1750. 1 second, guys. Yep, I'm still doing my video. Still doing the video. Thank you. Still doing the video. It's live right now. Yes. Okay, so a couple key levels, 1750, and then right around 17. So this one, I think this one will get through 17 probably next week, and then test 1750. But HRTX, still like the way that one looks. Looks really good. Okay, MDGL. Spot at 50. And you know, this one's another pretty thin trading name. Decent technicals though. So 50 is a key level on that one. So. Okay, ILMN. $214 spot. You know, this has been basing for a while. It's tested this 214 a couple times, actually 3 times, and now it's trying to kind of push through that level. So I think ILMN looks good. If you're looking for a target, I would say, you know, the average depth of this pattern somewhere between 205 and 200. So give you roughly a 10 point, 12 point target on the breakout. HYGS. Okay, HYGS still setting up there, nice spot at around 1050. So I'd keep an eye on this one through 1050. If you get through 1050, maybe test 11. But nice technicals on that one. Okay, BLPH, this is a thin biotech name. It's ramping back up near 160 area. 160, if you take this chart even further back, you know, if you take a look at, let's say the weekly, you know, you can see that 160 has been resistance for quite a while. And so anyway, I think this one through 160 could be a nice mover. It's very thin, so keep that in mind. But this one could be ramping up for a move. BLPH. So boom looks, this is a really good setup, guys, for Monday. It doesn't really trade a lot of volume. It's kind of a thinner name, but this one looks ready to make a nice break. If we take a look back on this chart, nice spot at 18, right, and you had kind of an ascending triangle type pattern, right, like that. And then if we take a look at 22 spot right there, it's ramping right near there after flagging out for a few days. So I really like the way this one looks through 22. It'd be a top watch of mine if it can break 22 on Monday. Watching for entry on that one. BOOM, really like that one. Okay, GST, a very nice looking oil name here, guys. Take a look at the this pattern. You get this clean resistance right around this 90 spot, right? And then you got this, you know, a lot of these oil names are reversing to the upside after long downtrends, and this one looks good. So take a look at that nice setup there through 90. You know, I'd look for this one to test $1, you know, or better, sometime next week. GST, really like the looks of that one for a breakout next week. Okay, ADAP, another one that's been basing for a while and kind of looks like it's ready to make a move. You know, it's not a clean level on this chart. You know, a couple different patterns you can kind of draw, maybe something like that, right? Almost like a coiling, you know, kind of like a coil, something like that. But I like this one, you know, if we can get through 850 and then, you know, possibly back to 9 or better. ADAP, very nice looking technical setup there. MRNS, this one's setting up very nicely. I really like the looks of this one. It's, you know, it's not close to the 8 breakout level yet, but if you take a look at the chart, you know, it's got a steady, you know, this one's been running from $1 all the way up to $7. Take a look at that. I mean, that's just a huge move there. This year on this MRNS. But if we take, you know, just kind of draw the trend line up, you can see how it's nice ascending triangle type pattern. You know, I think it's going to test 8, maybe it might get rejected once or twice again, but I think it, you know, this is the key level there at 8. So MRNS, I think it's one to keep an eye on. APTO, this is one where we traded, or I traded the breakout pullback to this 175 spot. You can see where it broke out and then give you an entry point on this breakout on this pullback to the support. Had a nice rally. I sold it at $1.90 after entering at 178, but then it rallied all the way back up. And now it looks like it's kind of converging on this 220 spot. So I like this one, you know. If this one can get through 220, it'd be worth the trade. It's a nice looking, it's got some decent momentum since it's a little bit choppy, but it does look like it's going higher on APTO. Alright, let's see, INSM, another one that I really like for, you know, it's got the resistance up here at around 31, you know, 50 spot. Breakout, kind of sideways chop, and now it's just kind of bouncing off the 50-day moving average. I really like the looks of this one. You know, a real good trigger would be on a break of 32. That would be the real trigger area. But, you know, you could enter this one here, you know, stop out if it breaks below the 50-day. But this one looks like it's setting up for a nice move in the near future, INSM. And then last up, look at ZGNX. Another name, we had the big momentum break, sideways chop, catching up with the 50-day. And I'd watch this one for at least a test of 40, and then maybe even, you know, the real break would be if it can clear this upper, you know, 42 area up here for a real move higher. All right, guys, that's all I got for this weekend. Have a good rest of your weekend, and we'll see you tomorrow.